Welcome to Retail Pricing Unlocked, the podcast powered by InsightTrack. With over 15 years of experience supporting retailers, we share expert insights and strategies to help you turn pricing into a competitive advantage. Now, here's today's episode.
All right, we're taking a focused look today at a role that is absolutely central to modern retail success, but one that often operates just out of sight. The retail category manager, or CM. You know, if you've ever walked into a store or browsed a website and found exactly what you needed, right price, perfect choice, well, that seamless experience wasn't random. That was the deliberate work of a CM. We're thinking of this person not just as, say, a sophisticated buyer, but really as the silent architect of retail success, and critically, the strategic mini CEO of their specific product segment. This role, managing everything from, crisps to cookware, it's just integral to driving profitability and keeping customers happy in today's markets.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is that the category manager occupies this really central, pivotal role. They strategically bridge that critical gap between, say, marketing insights, procurement realities, and the broader business operations. They really are the orchestrators of that particular product universe.
Orchestrators, I like that.
And this is key. The fundamental goal, right, of category management is to optimize the performance and growth of the entire category as a whole. It's not just about focusing solely on championing individual brands or, the specific SKUs of the stock-keeping units.
Yeah.
This whole approach, it's inherently customer-focused. It's designed to maximize the collective value of all those interrelated products that satisfy a common consumer need.
Okay. So our mission for this exploration, then, is to understand the strategic levers these Clarar mini CEOs pull, how they manage that high-stakes balancing act category growth versus individual profit, and, crucially, how they use advanced data to win. Okay, let's unpack exactly how they arm themselves for this, because the CM role, it absolutely demands a rigorously data-driven approach now. I mean, gone are the days of relying solely on gut feelings, surely.
Oh, completely. They have to constantly analyze sales data, market trends, intricate consumer behavior patterns, all to make informed decisions about product ranges and especially pricing.
So what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, they rely heavily on quite sophisticated analytical tools now, really, to stop the guesswork. For instance, how do they know if their pricing is competitive? They use pricing intelligence tools. These are essential because they constantly aggregate competitive pricing data and market trends in real time. So that gives the CM a structured view of exactly where they stand against every rival, practically minute by minute.
Right, so constantly watching the competition.
Exactly. And then they couple that with pricing optimization tools. Now, these provide the analytical framework needed to refine and, crucially, automate pricing decisions. That ensures consistency across all channels, online, in-store, wherever, and it significantly strengthens their hand during supplier negotiations.
Why is that? Because they can prove the market rate.
Precisely. They can prove exactly where the sweet spot for the market lies, backed by data.
And the technology, well, you mentioned automation, but it's getting into territory I really didn't expect. When we look at inventory and demand forecasting, our sources highlighted AI-based forecasting and machine learning. Algorithms apparently analyzing numerous factors, not just sales history or promotions, which you'd expect, but things like seasonality and even local weather patterns.
Yes, that's right, to determine optimal inventory targets for products in specific locations.
Okay, hold on. AI analyzing the weather for stock levels, is that genuinely cost-effective, or is it just a bit of a tech buzzword? How does a CM practically use that kind of insight?
No, it's absolutely essential now, particularly for certain categories. It allows for hyper-local inventory strategy. So if you know a heat wave is coming, AI can confirm you might need, say, 20% more stock of premium ice cream in your coastal locations, but perhaps only 5% more at inland city stores.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Targeting.
Exactly. That's a game changer for efficiency and, importantly, reducing waste. And that predictive power, it leads directly to the massive shift we're seeing in key performance indicators, KPIs, moving from just looking backward to actually looking forward.
Right, that distinction between lagging and leading indicators. That does feel like the aha moment for understanding modern retail strategy, as you said. Traditional metrics, the lagging indicators, they only show you what's already happened. You mentioned GMROI earlier. For those of us without a retail finance degree, what exactly does that measure?
Yeah, good question. GMROI, gross margin return on investment. Yeah, it's an old school staple, really. Simply put, it tells you how much gross margin, so profit, you made for every pound you invested in inventory. It's a great diagnostic tool for past performance, how you did last quarter, say.
Sure.
But it's always retrospective, always looking back.
Okay.
Now, conversely, leading indicators offer predictive insights. They look at pre-purchase behavior, and this is where the advanced technology really comes into play. Category managers are now leveraging quite sophisticated studies, often using things like eye tracking technology in stores or labs.
Eye tracking. You mean literally watching where people look?
Yes, precisely. To capture KPIs such as fixations and gaze points.
Okay, so what are they doing with that gaze point data? Are they, I don't know, moving the biscuits 2 inches to the left on the shelf?
Sometimes, yes. They're measuring the milliseconds a customer's eye stays on a product. They also measure something called consumer stopping power, basically, an item's ability to interrupt a shopper, make them stop, notice it, and maybe consider buying it. The CM uses this visual data to optimize merchandising, placement, packaging design. They might move that shelf 2 inches, yes, or alter the pack layout, all based on data that helps explain the why behind consumer desire before the customer even picks it up.
Gosh, that's quite something. So, armed with all this amazing predictive data, I imagine the job is still far from easy. That level of knowledge must carry enormous pressure. Let's maybe shift focus now to the immense complexity and challenges the CM faces. It sounds less like a strategic role sometimes and more like a permanent, high-stakes balancing act.
That analogy is spot on, actually. Every single product decision carries significant weight. Our sources really emphasize that a misreading of consumer demand, perhaps because they trusted outdated data or maybe misinterpreted a trend, can lead to substantial negative consequences. Things like investing heavily in the wrong products, or conversely, holding onto a load of underperforming SKUs that just tie up capital. Both scenarios severely impact overall profitability.
And there's that strategic tension you mentioned earlier, isn't there? The CM is tasked with growing the entire category, but they're also simultaneously responsible for the profitability of individual SKUs and brands within it.
Exactly.
This is the part that really interests me. If I'm the category manager, right, and I introduce a fantastic new premium coffee brand that's making brilliant margins, why should I really care if it cannibalizes or slightly hurts the sales of my old, weaker mid-range brand? I mean, surely I'm increasing my overall profit, aren't I?
But that's where the systems thinking aspect really kicks in. That's what defines the mini CEO mindset. If you optimize the profit of that single new brand, yes, but doing so cannibalizes maybe several other products, you might actually slow the overall category growth, which is the macro goal, or maybe reduce your supplier negotiation leverage across the board because your total volume in that category isn't growing as fast.
Right. Okay. You have to see the whole wood, not just the individual trees.
Precisely. The CM has to use sophisticated analytical models to ensure they prioritize the larger enterprise benefit, which often means maybe letting one SKU underperform slightly to ensure the whole category remains healthy, diverse, and appealing to a wider range of customers.
Which I suppose brings us neatly to the primary data challenge, this paradox of information overload. You hear that retailers are awash with data, yet they frequently suffer from a lack of real-time visibility. It sounds like being a detective with all the clues, but they've been scattered across different cities, maybe stored in different formats.
That's a very good analogy. That's exactly right. What's happening is usually a combination of data fragmentation and what our sources call these precarious tech stacks. So different functions like forecasting, assortment planning, supplier management, they often operate on separate, isolated platforms that don't talk to each other easily.
Silos?
Silos, exactly. And this forces CMs, especially when they need a quick answer or have to react fast, to rely on intuition or manual adjustments, which is essentially a reactive, often unscientific approach. And that immediately impacts profitability and market share.
And then on top of the data juggling, there's the stakeholder management nightmare. The CM must handle conflicting expectations from every corner, right? Leadership demanding growth but without eroding margins, finance pushing for higher profitability overall, and then suppliers negotiating hard for shelf space, placement, pricing.
Yeah.
It sounds like mediating a perpetual family argument.
It absolutely requires them to be the ultimate internal diplomat, really. The solution isn't just better spreadsheets, obviously. It means embracing a structured, data-driven culture, yes, but also prioritizing investment in unified technological platforms to break down those silos we mentioned. But fundamentally, the CM needs really advanced people management and persuasion skills. They have to manage and influence at all levels, up, down, across the business. They are that essential internal change agent whose soft skills are just as crucial as their analytical prowess.
So to sort of bring this exploration together, let's summarize the strategic evolution of the CM role. It's abundantly clear that their function extends far, far beyond the traditional 4 Ps of marketing, product, placement, price, promotion.
Well, significantly beyond. The role now encompasses really intricate inventory and supply chain management, complex supplier relationships, meticulous financial budgeting, sophisticated data analysis, and, as we've said, extensive cross-functional collaboration. The future really demands continuous adaptability, high technological proficiency, because of the reliance on these AI and ML tools, strong analytical acuity, and yes, superior negotiation skills. The CM is, without question, becoming the indispensable architect of modern retail success.
Indispensable architect. That sums it up well.
Yeah. And if you take 2 core things away from our discussion today, perhaps let them be these. Firstly, the category manager is truly a strategic mini CEO. Their success hinges on balancing that macro category growth with micro SKU profitability. It's a constant juggling act. And secondly, the future of category management really lies in proactively leveraging those leading KPIs we talked about, things like gaze points, and stopping power to predict customer behavior before a purchase is even made. That allows for genuinely predictive rather than just reactive strategy.
That reliance on systems thinking really is immense, isn't it? Consider those ripple effects we cited if a strategic adjustment, like even a small pricing change, is made on one product. Just think how many other areas, from maybe promotional strategy to optimal shelf space allocation for related items, are instantly impacted. How crucial is that holistic systems thinking approach to manage all that complexity? It represents a truly fascinating and essential challenge for the modern retailer. Thank you for joining us for this walk through the strategic role of the category manager.
A pleasure, as always.
You've been listening to Retail Pricing Unlocked, brought to you by InsightTrack. For more resources, case studies, and expert support, visit insighttrack.com. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again next week.